And you'll do it again, and another century will pop up, and you'll have the same thing, and you'll get stuck, and you'll do it again. But anyway, okay, let's get to the show.
Okay. Oh, is it recording?
Yeah.
Have we just been chatting it up?
Basically.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's get involved. Right.
Hi. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Zeze Millz show. I'm Zeze Millz, and I have a special guest in the building today, and I'm going to love this conversation because... listen, if one thing this lady's going to do, she's going to talk up the things. We have Paige in the building.
Hello.
So what's your actual thing? As in, because I hear you talk about hair, but you also talk about love. You talk about, I saw you talk the other day talking about relationships, how you had to take a look at yourself and be like, am I the person that I would want to be with?
Such a very good question.
Is it kind of a bit, is it like me? I just talk about everything. Are you just talk about?
No.
Okay.
No, not quite. My thing is living authentically and comfortably.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds very zen, very hippy dippy, but I really mean that on a very deep level.
Right.
Is waking up and being okay.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't wake up okay, you might be trying to put a wig on and you don't want to that day. For example,
right,
you could be trying to text a man that isn't trying to text you back.
Mm-hmm,
You could be forced to go out and put little crop top on when really you just want to have an XL oversized fleece.
Right. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Just wake up and be all right with your choices that day, so you're not coming home anxious or crying in a bathroom or walking around feeling less than.
Okay. So when I DM'd Paige,
She did.
We started following each other. I've seen her content, and I DM'd her and I was like, let's have a conversation. Yeah. And I said to her in my DMs, when I first came across Paige and you was talking about the hair, I was like, oh my God, if people want to wear a wig, let them wear a wig. Why are we And then the more I engaged with your content, I understood where it was coming from. And I think that's kind of similar to me. Sometimes people look at my content like, oh, you've always got something to say.
And then
but the more they see, it's like, oh, okay, it can sound harsh, because also a lot of truths are harsh.
Yes.
Which is very cliche to say, but it is. And a lot of times when you're saying things, it forces you to look at yourself and be like, okay, sis is saying this. Does this apply to me? And is that why I'm feeling a bit like...
See, the thing with being triggered is it's such a blessing, but it's very hard without self-awareness to understand why.
100.
If you're triggered, then the thing you're triggered about is where your healing needs to be. Yeah?
Right.
Look at the thing that's triggering you. I promise you, that's space where you probably could do some healing.
Right.
So if you're looking at me and I'm saying, you don't need to wear the wig every day. You don't. Yeah? Unless there's a medical reason, there's hair underneath. And
100.
You think, mind your business! And you start cussing dirty backward. Okay? Getting ready to block. Just stop. Take a second and just ask yourself, what is it about? Because it could be me. I could be disrespectful AF with my delivery. It could be me. It could be you've sensed my intention's not right. You see rage bait? Could be that. You have to guard yourself. And I'm not saying this to say you have to accept everybody's views and opinions. I'm saying guard yourself and work out, is it me or is it them?
Right, okay.
Yeah?
Right.
So if the delivery is actually kind of respectful, and if you think it's coming from a place, I think, of them actually wanting to help, yeah? And especially more time if it's a black woman saying, look, I've been there, which is always the angle I take. I'm not somebody who's outside the race. I'm not someone who's outside your gender. I'm hearing it with you, sister.
Right.
I'm telling you, this is what happened to me. So this is how I feel about this. Then maybe you ask yourself, might be me.
Right.
And something that I haven't unpacked, that I'm maybe getting angry at this person about.
So going back to when you said about your content is about feeling okay.
Yeah.
When did you realize you wasn't okay?
It's
like, when did you think, okay, this is getting like...
Okay, let me tell you when. I was wearing wigs back to back.
Yeah.
I got some glue that I should not have gotten. It was cheap and it was from some local black hair shop.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember thinking it must have been like extra strong, like you bold hold, like, you know, the strong stuff. And this is the peak of my wig chapter. And for whatever reason, I was like, oh, okay.
He's like, this is
okay,
not coming
why
off.
not? You know, when you're spreeing
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like
yeah.
in the basket.
Right.
Took it home, used it. It gave me a rash.
Okay.
And the rash was a nasty rash. And this is on a weekend, yeah?
Right.
So I'm trying to fix this rash thinking, raw, it's right where I lay my lace. So then how am I gonna put more glue on there?
Right.
Because there's a big red nasty ass rash
Right, okay.
here. Now it's Sunday and I'm thinking, I've got work tomorrow. And I can't go in with my Afro mad.
Right,
what am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got time, like everything's closed. I ain't got time to book random appointments. I haven't got time to put a relaxer on the rash? On the rash?
Nope.
So I called in sick.
Okay. And
because
then that's
I couldn't wear the wig because of the rash. And I don't call in sick when I'm sick. You see what I'm saying? I'm a hustle soldier.
Right,
yeah?
okay.
I am God's favorite soldier. So I don't even say when I'm sick on a real one.
Okay.
So imagine how I'm feeling Monday morning. I've got things to do. I've got emails. And I'm sat here with my wig cap and my rash because I can't just go in with the hair that grows from my scalp. I was like, this feels a little bit too far. This is too far. It's actually it's affecting my bag. It's affecting my money.
Yeah.
And I'm basically saying, unless I have that Indian Remy stuck on my scalp, I can't leave the house.
Yeah.
So that's prison. And I made that prison for myself.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, it's a bit too deep now.
And I think that is a lot of us at one point and still now as well. And also what I want to say is disclaimer.
Yeah.
This is not, we're not coming at you for wearing wigs.
Absolutely
any of this
not.
stuff. It's not a judgment thing. It's a conversation. But I think it's a very important conversation because I've never been a wig girly. Not because I'm against, it's just I'm too lazy for that shit. Like I ain't got time to be doing this, but I love a weave. I love a weave.
Sure.
I love a braid.
Sure.
I love that. But I can't do it because it's just too time consuming for me. So, but for me, sometimes I'll be on socials and I will see like the tutorials of the wig laying.
Right.
And I genuinely sometimes look at it and I get a bit sad.
Why?
Because I think to myself, like, I think when the wigs were back in the day, it was just a wig, right? But I think now it's gone so extreme. It's like you're trying to make it look like it comes from your scalp. It's like, this is the thing people can be like, but you wear weave, but I still feel like my weaves are natural, kind of natural to my state.
I feel like you're doing an extension of yourself.
Right. This is what I would like to.
Yeah.
But also I have had a similar, I had a similar experience to you. I went and got my hair done and I was in between getting my hair done. Yeah. So I took out some, I think it was had weave and took out my weave and then I was going to get braids, but I get my weave done somewhere else, my braider. As
a lot of people do.
As the ladies know, we have multiple resources.
We do.
Right. For different braids as well. Sometimes you go to this girl for
the
singles.
For the goddess and for the jumbo. Right.
I love that for us. But I was in between appointments and
how did you feel?
I was going and I wanted to go out that evening. And I was supposed to be going out the next day. I was going out the next day. I had a christening to go to and I had some filming to do. Right. So I was like, okay. And I was thinking, all right, I wanted her to straighten my hair. She straightened my hair. And then I remember just looking at myself and feeling like, I don't like how I look.
I don't like this.
I don't like this. This feels horrible.
Yeah.
Then I remember like had to walk to my mum's and it was like really summer and I didn't put a hat on it and my hair was out. And I remember just feeling like really insecure about my hair and not happy about my hair. And I felt weird about going out with my natural hair.
Yeah.
And I remember speaking to my friend and I think I actually had when we spoke, I actually had a cry with her because I was like, it's kind of sad that I don't want to go out with my hair.
It is.
Like it's really, that's quite sad for me. Like not even on a like, I don't even want to tie it back. I feel weird about tying it back. It's like, I don't feel good enough at all.
At all.
So that for me was when I was like, and at the time, I think the back of my hair had broken there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I couldn't even even if I wanted to, it's like, oh, this is broken, so I can't even tie it back
There's
now.
no
because
way to find middle ground at this point. You're stuck between a rock and a broken place.
But then the next day, what I did is I put some gel on it, and I tied it back, and it was like, okay, and I just got with the program.
Yes.
But I still, in that initial moment, I felt sad, and that's when I thought, you know what? I don't ever want to be in the place where in between hairstyles, I feel like I can't go outside.
That's exactly where hair depression comes from. There should not be hair depression.
Right.
Because hair depression is you saying, even though I have a full head of hair here, and again, disclaimer, if you have alopecia, if you have medical reasons, sis, same for you. But if you don't, and your hair is thick and healthy, you have hair.
Right.
So if you've got to wait an extra 2 weeks before your next braid appointment, why are you depressed?
Yeah.
Where is it coming from? It's coming from the fact that you won't feel beautiful or worthy until that braid appointment.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Why not? With the hair that literally grows from your head.
But I do think, obviously, we know that society has done a number on us as Black women. And I think sometimes, and I think also men as well. I know that we don't like men, it's not our fault, but I do think that, especially like Black men, they will tell you they like natural hair, but we all know it's a certain type of natural hair. Oh, I don't mind if you have a little afro. Yes, if it's a Halle Berry afro, not if it's like a 4C afro. Do you know what I mean? If it's a do you know what I mean? I don't mind short wave. Right. I don't mind if you have short little afro. No, you do. Because I think if I came out with my little short, you're not checking for me.
No.
But if I had nice little waves now,
or the baby hairs were laid, you know, maybe I did a little elongation.
Right. Then, so I think that's a conversation, but again, that's a deeper conversation with Black men and how they see hair, what they see as beauty. It's such a, as I'm talking to you now, it's so deep rooted. It's like, this is why I have come from the place that I have come from, because you are not wrong. Society has done a number on us. Number one, and slavery 100
needs to not be forgotten. All of this nonsense with influencers that just want to dance, just want to have a good time, don't want to think, don't want to worry about race, and it's too much. Okay, but ancestors were whipped, yeah? Our hair was wrapped or shaved.
Right.
Yeah? We were told every day whilst we were out in the field that we were literally the most ugly and disgusting of them all. That did happen.
Right.
Yeah? So I know it's not nice, but we have to take that into account when we are trying to understand why and when we're trying to give ourselves grace.
Grace,
yeah?
100%.
So I've had to give myself a lot of grace and a lot of patience because I had a lot of shame. Because I was like, why am I like this? Why do I have to have a double lash and a deep contour and a red lip and a J-Lo hoop if I don't have a weave and I don't have relaxer to be able to go and buy bread?
Right.
Yeah. Where has that come from? And it's not my fault. It's so true, and it's not my cross to bear alone. So that is the first thing. When you are able then to give yourself grace for where it comes from, that's when we leave it there.
Right, okay.
Leave it there, yeah? And it's the same I say about people that want to put their on you. Your grandma, your auntie, your boyfriend, your cousin, your brethrens. If they want to put, listen, that's their shame. Tell them, keep the thing. Give it back.
Right.
You do not have to accept it because they don't like their hair and they want to put that on you. That's on them. That's their healing. No, thank you. Close the door. So this is what my podcast, my book, my content all stem from the same thing is we can't wait for the world to heal before we love ourselves. Yeah. I don't have time.
And it might never happen.
It might never happen. Your grandma might never like that TWA. She might say your headpiece picky every Christmas.
It was so funny because even last Christmas, I've been wearing like this big afro.
Yes.
Like now, but I've got the braids at the front, but I'm wearing the afro.
Yeah.
And even that is so interesting because the amount, like, so I've got this big afro, and the first time I wore the afro, right, this guy was like, oh, like, I love your hair. And it's so interesting because Black men, what I've realized is Black men like afro hair as long as it's long.
The length.
The length, honey. That shit gotta be there.
Yes, okay? Otherwise,
right. So I have this afro now, and everyone's thinking it's my hair now because I've like, oh my God, it's your hair. This guy's like to me, oh, like, oh, I like your hair. Like, well, your hair's
Is
nice.
that all yours?
Yeah, he was like, your
he's
hair looks
checking.
nice. Yeah, no, he goes, oh, I love your hair. I love your hair. I've got natural hair products. I'd love to you to test it out.
Sure.
And I was like, okay. So then he goes, oh, like what texture is it? Like 3C? I said, no, it's 4C hair. And he was like, nah, that's not 4C hair. And I'm like,
here we go.
No, it's for, like, I bought it. It said 4C. Like, that is it's kinky 4C hair. That's what I bought. And he's like, oh, so it's not your hair? And I'm like, no, it's not.
No, the pack said.
The pack said it's kinky but in his head, as a black man, you can tell that he only thinks 4C hair or Afro can only go. If you've got 4C hair, it can only go to a certain length.
He saw the length and was like, no, sis, no.
That could never be.
You.
Yeah. You've got to have something else there.
There's got to be a mix.
It's got to be
Indian in there.
Right. And it's and so I found it so interesting because, yes, I found that black men really love this hairstyle because it's like, oh, you're natural. But it's like you got big curly natural
big
hair,
wavy natural,
but it looks Afro-y still. But it's that, and that's when I was just like, right, it's.
You see, I think it's also a case of not giving anyone a choice. You turn up how you turn up, and then that to me is weeding out who you don't need to be bothered with. Okay,
right?
Because think about it like this.
Oh, wait, sorry. The reason why I was telling you that story is I forgot. It's because you're talking about the aunties and the cousins.
Yes.
Right. So I went to Christmas now and I blowed my hair out. So it was like this massive thing. It was huge. So I went to an event. I was like, you know what? I'm going to blow it out and have it massive Diana Ross style. Okay. And you would think, like, it looks glamorous still. No. Got to Christmas. Oh, no. And my aunt was like, Zalika, oh, no. What's happened to your hair? Okay. Why your hair look like that for? And I was thinking, right, even with my 16-inch Afro, is still...
No, it needs to be sleek.
It needs to be... But if I had a now long Peruvian, Cambodian...
Body wave. 16 inch,
out like
inch,
that,
22 inch.
You would never say to me, Zalika, what's
like,
happened to your
hair?
You
look so stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow.
It's true. And this is the thing, right? And I've had tussles in my own comment section about this exact topic. People always like to jump in and say, well, it's not our fault. Society is the problem. Racism, can't get a job. And I get it.
100%.
Yeah? But there has to, for the sanity of you and your mental health, be a point where you say, I'm going to have to just work on what I can work on. Because you'll drive me mad.
Yeah.
It will drive you insane. It literally drove me to the point where when I started the podcast, I was like just completely exhausted, bald. I'd shaved it off. Right. And it was like I was having a Britney moment. That's where it took me. Yeah. Because trying to please and trying to be beautiful and trying, it just gets to a point where I'm like, no, it's too much. Yeah. I honestly, I get when people... They don't want to do all of that. It's a lot. Yeah. There was a lot of crying, a lot of just feeling this emptiness. Do you know what I mean? Of like, you know, when you're a bit over the wigs or over the straight hair, but that's all you know. Yeah. And that's all everyone else knows. And you have to find yourself beautiful again. It's like you actually have to look in the mirror and be like, okay, and retrain your brain. And then all of a sudden you're looking in the mirror without the wig and it's kind of low-key like there's a stranger in your bathroom because who are you? Right, yeah. I ain't never seen you in my life. And you're just trying to find ways to move your head and angle your head because you're like, oh my God, I feel naked. How do I make this work? And that's when the makeup comes and that's when the jewelry and the this and the that. And it's a process. For me, it took a good couple of years. Right. And it wasn't fun. So are you having fun now? Like you look like you're having fun. How long, what was the turning point? Was it when it stopped being hell on earth? Yeah, like when you sat and you really was like, wow, I look in the mirror and I think, yeah, babe, you look peng. In my book, How to Love Your Afro. Right, yes. Yeah, I have a book. I spent a year of my life writing it and it's available for pre-order now. In that book, out in September though. Out September 11th, okay, but it's okay. Pre-order now. You pre-order, honey. Wait. So in that book, I talk about this real revelation moment, where I actively kept staring at myself in mirrors every day. I made a point of it because I just realized I just didn't like it. I thought I looked mad, like without my wig on. You know, one of them where you're like, my God. And I thought, no, you know what? No, this is how you came to the world. look at yourself every day.
Right.
And I would do it. And I'm talking like, I'd set timer for like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and just stare at myself.
Wow.
And it was so jarring and so uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, I don't like it. But there was something in my brain that was like, do it. Stick it out.
Yeah.
And I maybe did it for a few weeks. And it wasn't like in the morning, first thing. Sometimes I'd be like, I can't deal with that right now. But then maybe later in the day when I've creamed and I feel better. And then there was one day I did it and something just switched in my brain where I was like, you know what, actually, I'm quite cute.
Yeah.
But it took staring at myself for days to normalize my face with this afro.
Right.
So I now start liking what I'm looking at. Because if I've gone for 10 years with this, I have to give myself time to get used to this.
That's so true. That's actually true what you're talking about earlier about the grace as well. It's like it's not going to happen immediately.
No, you're going to think you look crazy.
So did you just go cold turkey? Did you just, or was you, did you?
So I tried to start my natural hair care journey several times. So the first time I tried, I ended up with faux locks down to my body.
I hear it.
Failed. And then I was like, no, stop. And then I cut them. So I was like, I'm going to do it properly. And then I started bleaching my hair.
Okay.
And then mashed those up. And then I went to the trichologist and they were like, you need to shave all your hair off. Because the permanent hair dye you bought and did yourself at home has dried your hair out to the point where it's now split down the middle. She referred to my hair strand as an open jacket that will never retain moisture again because it's open.
No.
Just falling out. So I was like, okay. So then that forced me to not only do it again, but realize, okay, we thought we were doing it and now I'm bald again. Obviously, something's not working. And then I pinpointed what it was. And I was like, you still don't like your hair. You still don't like it. Because you're still trying to use extensions. You're still doing faux locks with the wave. You're still using bleach to turn it blonde, to turn it red, to turn it blue, to turn it blue. Because to you, this is mundane AF. It's boring and it's ugly. And that is what I hadn't faced up to that point. So I had my hair, I didn't have the weave, I didn't have relaxer, thought I was killing the game, but then kept mashing it up with extensions or chemicals.
So what about the people, because I have these disagreements with, I used to have these type of arguments with my ex all the time because he was like, oh, natural hair. And I'd be like, fuck you, bruv.
Okay.
And then he'd be like, yeah, but if you're going to get weave then, why don't you get natural? Like, I guess he was talking about this type of thing.
I guess.
And then, so, yeah, what do you think about that? It's like, okay, I might not like my hair, but I'm going to get the closest thing to my hair. Do you still think...
Do you know what the thing is for me? Is wearing something for style and not out of obligation that you don't feel beautiful.
Okay, right.
I
get this. All right.
So if you're wearing it for style, for creativity, then God forbid something happened tomorrow. I don't know. An illness.
Yeah, right.
Yeah? And you can't wear that wig. You can't straighten it. You can't relax it. You can't, for whatever reason, for a certain amount of time. You can't hate yourself for the length of time that you are dealing with your health, which should be the most important thing. You shouldn't have to battle with the mental turmoil of hating how you look in the mirror every day when you're worrying really about how you're going to survive.
Right,
yeah?
okay.
So then there's also issues with mental health and the weight of it. So if it's for fun, it's for creativity, it shouldn't weigh on your mental health. You shouldn't have hair depression. You shouldn't be trying to scrape the last pennies in your bank account to go and book the braider. If you haven't got the money, you haven't got the money, you've got hair. But that's not the case for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and they're putting themselves under financial duress. They are running to people that they've never seen before, never had a treatment with before, because they are so terrified of just being like this, that it's putting them in situations where it could be someone that could traumatize them and their scalp in that chair, all to make sure the last minute appointment get booked so that I can feel again.
Right.
That to me is a problem. And over time is going to grate on you. Yeah? But if you really say, I can take or leave it, I can take or leave it. If I'm having an off day, I'm not wearing the wig.
Right.
Or if I want to pop out and honestly my scalp a bit tight, you know, one of them where the grip game was too strong and you want to take the thing out?
Take it out.
Just take it out.
Yeah,
Don't cancel. Just go with your hair.
Mm.
And that's what I would like so that not only you can feel comfortable with yourself, but also you don't ever have to feel like you need anything other than what's here to exist.
Right.
If the black hair shop is closed, if your braid is away.
Right. I think that's what I was saying to someone today. I was saying, I find it really interesting when I see, you know, like the old school auntie wigs.
I do indeed.
You know what I'm talking about? And there's like no part. It's literally just looks like a hat.
It's a hat. It's a beret.
I always... It is a beret.
It is.
I always think,
yeah,
your hair can't be worse than that. When I see women wearing that wig...
Stop it, because I had this exact epiphany in the nail shop and I saw 4. And I was like, are you sure
that your hair is worse than what that looks like? Right.
Then this, and you.
Yes.
I saw you in the back with your foot in the basin. Are you sure?
And that's when I think that is when it's like, you know, I just need to put this on, and it's a bad wig. Now, if you got the bust down and it's and I get it, I hear it,
and you're,
I hear
then
it.
okay,
I get it. I look at it sometimes and I'm like,
oh, right. But when you're saying that this crooked
mountain
of a wig with the thick lace
and the parting,
and what parting?
There's no parting.
Okay, and it just ready for the day. And you check the mirror and you say, yes, that's it, yes. And then you leave and go about your business, and you have this underneath.
That's what I mean. You looked at your hair and was like, this is bad, and then put that on and thought, said, this is now I look presentable.
We're back.
And I'm like, that is when I think, that we are really in a sad place that you think that is better than...
I've started thinking that as well. So you know where people talk about hard wig, soft life.
Right. Yeah.
So those types of wigs, or when people were talking about, what was it, wig blindness? Them reels give me joke.
Yeah.
Because I had wig blindness where, you know, when you do the makeup and then the wig's here and it's just a line. Right. It's a clear line. Listen, I was born in 93. We weren't melting. Okay?
No.
In when it was, what, 2K15?
The only people, I saw a video the other day, the only people that had the wigs that are accessible now were like the Beyonces and the Tyra Banks. Beyonce.
I actually think we're probably picturing the same photos.
Video.
And it's like the blonde and Tyra when you had the red.
Yes.
And it
the
was
ginger, all that.
And I remember being like, one day.
Yeah.
The way you lot are doing it now.
But also, I remember fighting people when they're like, Beyonce's wearing a wig. I'm like, no, she's not. No, she's not.
I literally remembered zooming in and was like, see? And then now I'm like, oh my God, it was the HD lace. Now I know.
Yeah.
But the reality is as well that there's a lot of people that have come out and said, you know that lace wigs, the way that it's done now, was meant for theatre.
Yes,
darling.
It was never supposed to be an everyday thing.
It was supposed to trickle down to the consumer.
Yeah.
And then the people in theatre are like, oh no.
Yeah.
What have we done?
But that's why when you still go to the theatre, they still have the best wigs.
Exactly.
They actually still have the best wigs.
They do. 100%.
With minimum plucking, with minimum foundation. No. It literally is a theatre wig because it is done properly.
But it's one of those as well where, and again, I talk about this in the book, the reason I have so much grace, the reason that, I don't know if you've gathered, my content has a different spin than some of the more persecutory content you might see.
Right.
Yeah, the angry content. You, but from black women as well, and telling people that I don't have that, because the reality is until you reach your own breaking point, it just won't matter as much. It's only I've found the people that are on the journey and have had some breaking point that follow me and do the things and send me the DMs and ask me for tips and da-da-da-da-da. You see in the comments sometimes there's people pouring out their soul. They've already made that decision. I'm not making the decision for them. They found me just after.
Right.
They've said, I think I'm done with this and I need a bit of help. But if you're at the peak of your wig chapter the way that I was at 25, I would never, ever try and change your mind in an aggressive way. I would probably want to sit down and just be like, are you happy? Are you okay? Are you okay? And even then, you don't have to tell me anything. It's your private business.
Yeah.
But if you were to confide in me and say, you know what, sis, on a real one, I'm not all right. It's just too much. But I feel like I have to. Then I feel like you're allowing me in. You're giving me permission. Let's talk about it. Otherwise, I kind of need people to go on their journey and find the moment that they have had enough. And the issue with, I think, the content that I make and what I'm doing is it's getting mixed up with people that are making rage bait.
Okay.
So you hear what I'm saying and you're like, I'm sick of you.
Because you've heard it
because you are constantly, as a black woman, being policed.
Well, this is what I'm saying as well. And I think that is another thing. Like, I'm very aware of that as well, that we are constantly policed. And I'm pretty sure people are going to say that in the comments. Oh, why is everyone always policing us? Da, 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 da.
I get it.
So I get that, because our hair is always a conversation. But I think it is very important, this conversation.
When the intent is right.
100%.
From the right messengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do think even with this texture, I would never get this texture.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Speak the truth.
I'm buying Afro texture.
Speak the truth.
Are you all right?
You and everyone in your family would be like, what's the point?
Right. So I'm like, why am I getting Afro? I'm buying some Peruvian.
Yes. My favorite was Malaysian.
Okay.
It was a Malaysian body wave, and it.
Right. Mine used to be, well, I've got the hair at home.
Sure.
What is it? I love a little, Blasian kind of vibe.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
I had a Brazilian water wave.
Yeah, like
I
that
had a
kind
huge
of
bag.
Right, yeah.
Of
That
my hair.
vibe.
Yes.
Oh my God. Could you be something?
Island girl.
Right. That was my go-to.
Coolie Island girl.
I'm like, So then that was my thing, and it was always kind of, I said to you earlier, I had an obsession with blending. From young, I've always had an obsession with blending my hair. Like, I don't care. I'm relaxing that shit. As long as my hair's not like yammed out at the front, I'm like, keep going until it gets to that point.
Oil sheen.
Yeah, I'm like,
stretch
blend.
it out. Yes.
I used to be, and I always, from young, I used to spend a lot of money on my hair.
Yeah,
from young,
same.
from like, I'd go to the hairdressers and I get my weave and I get my thing, but I always just knew how to make my hair look good, if that makes sense.
Yes, that does make sense.
So I've had the long, and then this, I thought, you know what, I want to try an Afro. I just want to try an Afro. I want to have big hair.
If I'm honest, I remember a video that you did, and I have never respected you more. And it was, I think, on your stories, and it was like something in your brain had like, and you were like, why am I getting the thing going down?
Yeah, no, because,
And you were like,
yeah.
But why am I not getting it coming out? And I was like, why, Zeze?
Right, because also, but when I got it in the hairdresser the first time, I was like, this is mad.
Okay.
Like, what the hell is, and I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, no, this is a bit much. This is like, I'd be thinking, I was all like trying to feel like, like trying to make it. And someone was like to me, but that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that. And I was like, do you know what? It is. And then ever since then, I've been doing this for about the last, probably about 8 months now. I've been doing the Afro, and I genuinely love it. Yes. I love it. It's probably, and people are like, oh my God, is it hard? Is it hard maintenance? I said, let me tell you something, this is the easiest weave I've ever had in my hair.
There you go.
I put a bonnet on. Yeah. I take the bonnet off in the morning. I go like this.
Pop out. And then
rough, and I leave my yard. That is it. These little cameras at the front, they be pissing me off, because now I've got to be doing, like, it's just, you know what I mean?
It's easy.
It's just, but what do you say to people that is the go-to? Like, it is hard. Our hair is hard, not hard. It's challenging sometimes to manage. It's always a process. Actually, someone said that to me the other day, and I think that was, when he said that, I was like, that was a perfect way to put it, because he's got locks, and he was like, oh, I'm thinking about taking my locks off, and he's like, because it's just always a process with the locks. Like, when you get in the shower, it's a process. I was like, you know what? That is the perfect way to put it for a black woman, because I think sometimes as black women will be like, oh, it's so hard, but it's not hard. It's just the process.
Okay, let me put something to you.
Go on.
What about the process of learning to walk? What about the process of learning how to eat? You remember when your mum was like, stop eating like that? And you'd be like,
fairs.
Yeah? Okay. What about the process of literally anything you've done that's been difficult, but then you do it, and then you get good at it, and then you don't talk about it being hard anymore?
Right, okay.
Okay. So to me, learning and getting good at something is all we as humans do every day from when we came out the womb.
Right.
It's part and parcel of our lives. I think the issue is when you haven't learned to do something that should have been taught or should have been encouraged when you were learning all the other things.
Right, okay.
And you're having to do it now. And then now on top of that, you're dealing with man and rent and job and Instagram, there's only a certain amount of capacity you've got.
Right.
Yeah? So now it might be hard because life is hard.
Mm-mm-mm.
And you're tired.
Right.
And you just don't have the capacity to add anything to your plate than you already have. But the fact is, what if you hadn't have learned to walk? Because when we were learning to walk, we were constantly face planting. And somebody was like, I can't be bothered on it. This is too hard. And what, we'll just all be out here in wheelchairs?
Yes.
Okay. So you do the things you want to do because you like the things you like it. You're excited about the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
You're not excited about the outcome. Yeah, it's hard.
Okay.
Yeah. Even them times where you go gym and
so
then
do you think
stop.
that's what it is? We're not excited about the outcome. We haven't learned to be excited about the outcome.
I think it's, we are shown every day what is glamorous. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
To look like Kerry Washington or Beyonce that's exciting.
Yeah.
Because then I'll be glamorous like they're glamorous. Exciting.
Yeah.
And then as a result, I spend 5 hours, 6 hours, God knows how many hours over the course of the last 10 years of my life, melting, plucking, bleaching knots. I did all of it and I really enjoyed it. I really did. I would sometimes put like hours aside on my weekend and be like, please nobody call me. Because I'm just looking after my wig. I'm just having wig time.
Right.
But that wasn't hard.
Yeah.
But it was.
Yeah.
Because if you'd have seen my toolbox.
But this is what I was saying to someone today as well. Because I was like, the thing is, when we say that it's a long process, then the only way that would make sense if then you just had braids all the time.
Okay.
Because braids is not.
Yeah.
You get up and you
wake
go.
Up,
like
you might spritz it.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're saying that it's a long process, but then you're spending 20 to 30 minutes melting your wig, baby.
Have you seen the tutorials?
They're long,
the
that's why I don't do them.
Wild nowadays. They start with the thing on the face. I literally was scrolling, and when I saw someone pulling a wig cap over their face looking like Freddy Krueger, I said no.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Absolutely
it's a
not.
Long
it was never
process.
that for me. And then the cutting, and then okay. So is that not long?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So then it is a thing. That's when people say that. That's why when I was saying, oh, it's a long process, oh, it's long. If
that's long and that's long, what's the difference?
Right.
The difference is how you look at the end. And how you feel about how you look at the end.
Yeah.
When you do that twist out that isn't quite right.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't even know why I did that. And then you just go to the black hair shop and do what you do. Because you're like, it did not look cute. But when the wig goes wrong, and I've had many times where the wig's gone wrong, and maybe I've cut too much off the lace frontal, or maybe the knots aren't bleached. What did I do? I bleached them again.
Because we gonna get this
we gonna get this right today.
It's so true, though. It's so true.
And that's where I really want people to not feel persecuted. And that's why I use humor. And that's why I talk out all of my business. So that you know I'm not rage bait.
I've been there. I'm still learning.
I'm still in it.
And me, myself. Like, I'm here to... I love a weave. I love a thing. And yeah, there probably is an element of me that feels more confident like this than if, but to be fair, but then it's like, but then you would say that would be the same. Because if I was like, oh, I like to slick my hair back, you would still then say, I'm still like manipulating it to not be its natural state.
Do you want to know the thing is, yes.
Okay.
But I also don't think there's a problem with that. Everything in moderation.
Okay.
Yeah? And I think for me, and I can only go from my experience, for me, it got to a point where without the slick back, without the gel, without even the manipulation of my hair to make it look like a looser curl, without the wig, without the relaxer, without the goddess braids, without the faux locks, I did not like my reflection. It was very deep. I didn't feel like it was deep at the time, but it was very
like when you look
deep.
back now.
When I look back now,
yeah.
The thing I need, or I wanted, is to know that if I wear a wig, if I wear braids, if I get a relaxer, and for whatever reason I decide I'm not going to do that anymore, I can always just go back to my natural hair. I don't want to be in a prison of my own making when the hair I have is actually very pretty. And the way that I look right now, I love this hair. Yeah, I love the way my hair is right now.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
You really do.
No, but I appreciate it because the other issue is people are not nice.
Well, because that must have been a lot for you
People
as well.
aren't nice. People aren't nice
People
today.
Will say in
on my social media.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
I've had people like, girl, you need to get a lace front on that ASAP. You can't leave the house.
And I bet it's other black women.
Oh.
Bad.
So I do understand the pressure, and I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but for me, it reached such a peak and such an obsession, I'd say, that as soon as you switch out of it for a second, it's like an out-of-body experience, yeah? Whether it's a day where you've called in sick to work, and it's because of a wig, or where you've got 4 scabs on the back of your headpiece from a relaxer that you did yourself, or your auntie did yourself, or your cousin, and then you're sat there like, is it bleeding? There's a point all of us have where it's like an out-of-body experience where you're like, is this too much? Should I stop this? And then a lot of us just go back into our bodies and carry on.
Right, yeah.
But I had it one time, and my extraterrestrial self stayed out here for a while and was like, this can't run. This is too much.
Yeah.
And now I feel as if there's an awakening happening. There's a lot more people like...
We're seeing, because I saw you put up about Doechii, like even those representation, like you said, is so important.
Doechii is big boss. Yeah? There is always someone of the moment. It is Doechii.
100%.
For the Gen Zs and the babies, it is Doechii.
And I
For
love
the grown women, it is Doechii.
And I love that the braids, that she's just literally wearing the shit out of the braids. Like literally.
But now everyone's like,
like it, literally.
And that for me is important because what that says is I can have a bust down, and I will. I can have a pixie, and I shall. But lest we not forget the Afro in the mix.
100%.
Yeah? And that was my girl's debut. Do you know how many people in that team would have been, what are we? And that would have been big things. You know how these people take the Met. It's a big deal. So the fact that the Afro was the choice, nothing less than the Afro, that's going to have some impact on a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old who sat there just about to ask mum for a relaxer. We all remember it. She's just about to start begging and pressing for a relaxer, and the Met Gala happens, and she's like, I mean, we can wait. That is all it... That's enough.
It's enough representation.
That's enough for me. That's progress for me.
Growing up, who would you say was your representation? If I'm trying
to think. It's not natural hair.
No,
but it was like
Tony
Braxton nylon short pixie.
How old are you?
32.
Okay.
32.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So that was like that period, and then
mine was Tiana Taylor.
As I was just gonna say, it was Tiana on was it My Sweet 16?
Oh my god, that's what I mean. Do you know when I talk about the hair texture? I would go to every hair shop to try and get that Tiana Taylor hair texture.
I remember it well.
Like
because
that is
I remember
what
getting like I think she was wearing some Nikes. I bought the same.
And it was like that was my aspiration.
Yeah, agreed. So it's not to blame. Well, not with me. I see some people on the internet. I want it grips, but for me, it's not a blame game. It's simply me saying you could go your whole life and it not be a problem.
Right.
And you don't really like your hair, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And you're not hurting yourself. You don't feel like it's weighing on your mental health. Do you? Yeah? Don't be triggered by my content. Don't feel obliged. This is for people that are on the path or are at the place where it's hurting them.
But because I've been that gal that's like, oh no, it's because of this. Oh no, it's because of that. And And I will wear weave for the rest of my life, and I will wear braids and but I also will have my hair out and whatever, etc. But if I was honest with myself, which I think, because if you are honest with yourself, then it's kind of hard to digest that. At one point, I didn't really like my hair. But then that means I don't really like myself. And then that's a lot to kind of digest and be like, I'm out here pretending like I love myself. But really, so my thing is, if like we was going back to earlier, if you always feel like you can't, then for me, I would say there's a problem.
I would say that there is, but I think that we are just constantly told so many things about how we should look, what we should do, what's wrong with us, why we don't let this, why our hair's not growing, why we wear the wig, why, that we become defensive because we just want to be left alone. And then that's what makes me angry about rage bait and things like that, or people that are really just talking out of pocket to black women, even if what they say has some element of truth, I don't back it. Because to me, your delivery is going to get the backup of someone that might have needed the message and now have completely put a guard up.
Right.
And I could be behind that guard. Me, my book, and what I do could be behind that guard. So the healing, the connection that we could have, the safety net of love that I want to wrap around you to pull you through it is going to be harder for me to reach you now.
Right.
That's why a lot of the stuff I see on the internet, it irks me because you're making my job harder.
What do you feel about, because there's been conversations about the natural hair girlies. And, you know, it's kind of been taken over by like the 3C, 3C hair girlies and them talking about you know, the natural, and then even brands now. So like brands are getting involved in the natural hair journey. What do you think about all of that?
I think that natural hair and the natural hair community has evolved to a place where I don't think it's as, I would say, toxic as it was.
Okay, nice.
But when I jumped in, when was this? I don't know. Maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. So I've tried over the years privately to dip my toe in, and then went straight back to get my wig.
You was like,
I dipped it up, dried my toe, and went to pick up my lace front. So when I've done that, it's because I kept seeing how to make your curls pop, how to get your 4C hair to drop, how to do this and this and this, and it always just looked like not like this.
Right.
And I then would spend 5 gels and 2 curl creams trying to make it look like that. And then I'm stressed, sweaty and greasy in the bathroom, and I'm on YouTube like trying to, and I'm like, I'm at the end of the video and it's not doing it. And then I'm like, I hate this hair. I hate this hair.
I remember when I did a twist out one time and I was like, oh yeah, nice twist out. Can't wait to take this out in the morning. Yay! When I took it out, I was like, what?
What's this?
But I just had to, do you know what I did? I just like pinned it up.
You have to find a way.
Because at the time as well, I really wasn't doing no weaves or anything like that. I was doing up natural journey and all these type of things. And I was like, I'm gonna do it, yes.
And then you go onto YouTube University and it just feels like you are being told or like gaslit that, you are part of the natural hair community. 100%. But you do have to make sure that you're defining it. Are you defining it? No. More. This isn't. Oh, no. Define it.
Right.
More.
Yeah.
More. And that's where you'll start to be like, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get my braids. You guys have fun.
And it's literally that.
I don't want no fights. I just can't do it because it hasn't been adapted
to this for us.
No, not really. And then it kind of seemed to be getting better. And then at the moment, honestly, the problem now is length.
Ooh, what's this? Go on.
As in...
me. Oh, I love this.
This is how you grow it to the back of right here.
I'm not in the hair world. So it's like the tea of the hair world. I'm like, oh girl, tell me the tea.
Yeah, the tea is piping where you are now like, oh yeah, we accept the 4C, but it must be down here.
Oh, really?
So the influences to me that get a large amount of attention is when the Afro is out here.
Right, okay.
Or the Afro is down here. Hey, they said that 4C hair can't grow.
Yeah, I see that a lot. Yeah.
Look at mine. And I'm thinking, okay, sister, it's good. The message is strong because you're right. They did say that. And it's a load of bollocks. It can grow.
Right.
Yeah? But I also feel like my algorithm is now drowning me with these Afro Pocahontas princesses.
But that's what kind of what I was saying to you earlier about the black men and the long Afro.
And then now it's like, oh my God, okay, so it's natural hair community minus my tiny Afro is what we're like.
So, it's like
so unless I define it to hell and gel the ting like completely out of my own texture.
Yeah.
Or I find a way to use your hair growth oil, serum, butter, pudding pie cream and make it grow down to
I saw a video of you talking about this.
Yeah.
You were saying oil. No.
Listen,
Because when I saw that, I was like, what do you
Listen,
mean oil?
Everything
No.
has its place.
I love oil.
But when people are saying that oil is going to grow your hair faster, it is wrong.
Okay.
Oil cannot penetrate to the root of your hair strand through layers of skin to deposit nutrients,
The way
which
you're
you
even saying
get
it now,
from
it's making
food
me...
in your bloodstream. You understand? It's mad what people say. So that's the first thing. The science is not science.
It's not adding up. Okay.
No.
Fairs.
The second issue, what kind of oil? Because the tin can clog up your scalp. So that's the other thing. If there was oil that was going to be light, because there are, and oils that will allow, honestly, I'd say the key thing is if paired with massaging, some can help to stimulate blood flow, which can lead to healthy scalp environment, which can lead to, it's always
another
thing. It's not like, yeah, this thing will make your hair grow quick, right?
Okay.
It's helping or aiding something that's helping and aiding something which which is then helping your hair to grow, right? So peppermint oils or things like that. If you use them and you do your little massage, supposedly great. But then the other issue is, how much are you using? Where did you buy it from? Has the person you bought it from done their job? Yeah, have they formulated it right, or have they bunged something else in there on the sly?
Right. Okay.
And then also how frequently? Because if you are not using it correctly and you are over oiling, then you could end up with conditions, inflammation, irritation, blocking of the pores in your scalp, which actually then you see where the hair come out, bam, right here.
Okay.
Because it's blocked.
Okay.
So when we're trying to get hair growth, my thing isn't that I'm like, no oils. My thing is, let's focus on the ground level hair care first that actually would help you, such as just frequent weekly washing.
So growing up, that's another thing. Like we was told that we didn't need
Yes, we were
wash our hair that often. And we shouldn't actually, because
like the white people.
Yeah, we shouldn't do that. That was for that was for
the white people.
100%. That's what we was taught growing up. Is that not the case then?
No.
Okay, we should be washing our hair weekly.
I wash my hair weekly.
God damn.
But there are caveats because we have lives.
Right. Okay.
It's not very. I know a lot of people will be very rigid with it. Yeah, and the reality is 7 to 10 days is really the best.
Okay.
That's optimum. Do you want to know why? Sweat, dead skin cells, debris. I haven't even got to product yet.
Right.
All of that building up. And if you can picture, this is where science I used to hate, but now I'm getting into it. I'm like, it really helps because that's building a layer. And then just even random things like you putting that jacket on, lint, you putting something over your head, fluff. And then it's a layer. Now add product.
Yeah, you really are.
It's disgusting.
So what about the theory about dirt making your hair grow?
Stop it.
No, but because
don't upset me today.
No, but I'm okay. So don't
shower for a couple of weeks and come back and let's talk. And let me see how your body's getting on.
I know, but this is somebody told me.
Yeah, no, that was a thing.
They were like, she her friend had her hair in locks, and she only used to wash her hair once a year, and that was on her birthday. And the locks
treat.
And the locks was down to the back.
Remember?
And they were saying that was because of dirt.
Remember genetics?
Yes, okay, that's the thing as well.
But that is a problem, that genetics, your hair will grow, yeah?
So how are you making your hair grow? Because your hair is growing.
It is growing.
Yeah. And how do you feel about that? Like, do you like... Because I can imagine, because when I shaved my hair, because I shaved my hair off at one point.
I did not know that.
Yes, I shaved my hair off. All off, babe. Let me show you a picture.
Where is it on the ground?
I
hit it to the top.
No, I was like, I did a whole early stages of Zeze Millz show. Oh my God. I had, how do we get out of this library thing? Oh, here we are.
I don't know.
I hate this new thing that they do. When I was doing Zeze Millz show, there was a time when I shaved all my hair off because my gran passed away. And then I was like, do you know what? Nothing feels worse than this. So I'm just going to shave my hair off. So I shaved my hair off. This is the second time I did it.
Oh, you say. You
That
are
was
such a pretty little baby.
That is the first,
Little face.
and that was okay. So the reason why I was saying that is because that was the second time. So basically, what I did, I chopped it off the first time. I went to the barber's, got it chopped off.
Yeah.
And then we can do a little zoom in here.
Yeah.
They can see. They can zoom it in there.
Yes.
There. So then I did that, and then what happened is I went to the barber's, got it done, and then it was growing, and then I liked the length, and then you know when it's that nice length, and then it starts growing, and you're like, actually, I really like this length.
Yeah, I completely get it.
So how's that for you? Because are you growing it for it to see how
like
long it can go?
Yes.
Okay.
Social experiment.
Okay. Cool.
Where I just want to see.
Okay.
I've done everything wrong up to this point in terms of damage, where I haven't cared for it. I've done the at-home permanent hair dyes. I've done the relaxers. I've done the grip game too tight and the high tech and so I'm trying to just do a social experiment where I do everything right
and see what happens.
But by the manufacturer's instructions.
And
see one with that growth, but also with the health and the thickness. And even now I'm sat here and I'm coming from a place of having traction alopecia. The thing was bold.
Right.
On both sides.
And that's from tension, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now I don't think about it at all because I've completely gone past that point because the hair, it's not just length I'm chasing, it's health and density. So the thing is healthy, it's dense, there's lots of it. It's exactly where it needs to be because I am doing what I need to do to look after it and love on it as opposed to trying to make it into something else.
So what is like a daily routine? Like, how do you wrap your hair when you go to bed
routine,
at night? Or how does it work now? My routine
is so minimal. My hair, this isn't hard. I think it's only hard when you're trying to make your hair do something it doesn't want to do.
Right.
Yeah? This is how my hair grows. Yeah? There's one tiny bit of leave-in in my hair right now. Okay. And that's it. And water.
Right, okay.
And when I go to sleep, I have silk pillows. Because I like to sleep free. I'm a little jungle baby. I sleep crazy. So I don't like anything on my head. A lot of times I wake up in the night. So silk pillow. In the morning, I go into the shower without a shower cap and let the water naturally do what it want to do.
Yeah.
Use my hands. I don't even add more leave-in.
Okay.
From the wash day I've had, that leave-in is enough.
No.
And if I want my hair to maybe be pliable so I can do something with it, like pull it out or I just use rose water in a spray bottle and then do that and then I leave it alone.
How do you make rose water?
Listen, we're not making anything. I get it from the internet. Thank you. I don't know who you think I am. Out here in the fields doing what? No, it's no.
But I thought it might be something like, don't people make rice water? It's supposed to be good for your hair. People do a lot of
crazy things.
Right, there's all these things. So growing up, what was your hair like? What was your relationship with your hair? Because I saw that lovely video you put up of your mum the other day. That was so beautiful, where she was saying that she was like, do you know what? I'm going to go out in my afro because of you. You've made me realize that actually, I know that's so beautiful. And that's the thing. And it's very like...
She's always been, she's loved my hair. But listen, it doesn't matter what happened before 14 years old. It don't matter. Don't even ask me a question about that. Because as soon as I got the relaxed, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Once you get a 14-year-old relaxed, it's done. My edges will be gone by 16. So don't ask me a question about what happened before. My hair was beautiful before.
And
what do you want to say? It was stunning.
But like growing up, what was your relationship with your hair as a child?
As a child,
because I remember I hated getting my hair done.
I didn't think about it at all. I didn't think about my hair whatsoever. I only started thinking about it when I went to school, and I think it was actually a black boy that made fun of my afro. That's always how it goes, isn't it?
But you still like black men though, don't you?
Man.
Because you know them man, they're out there saying, "Oh, that's why I don't like black women." Because when I was in school,
I can't even remember what he said, but he had braids, and my little 13-year-old brain was trying to compute. You know the old white woman gif where it's algebra. And I was like, "But you have afro hair too," and I couldn't understand. And then the bullying would just intensify. Then it started saying I had horse hair.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Then it just moved on to me being black. He was black. I want you to remember this. And then it moved on to the fact that I had burger lips. It was relentless. And then that's where I was like, relaxer, that might help.
Right.
That's why you can't ignore slavery.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Because I'm 13, being told about my burger lips and my horse hair, and I'm like, and I was like, okay, relaxer. That's so Raven.
100%. Yeah.
And Raven, I was like, I'll do a Raven.
And also, I went, so similar to you, I went to a predominantly white school.
Same.
So then it was like all the girls had the long hair. And on Thursdays and Friday, we'd do dance. So we'd have to put our hair in a bun.
Right.
What way is my little afro going in the bun? Like, it's not, my hair doesn't move. The whole point of
I remember that
slicking
vividly.
your hair, they used to tell us to slick your hair back because they needed it out of the way for when you did dancing. I'd be like, my hair does not move. I don't need, it's not going to flop in my face. Sylvia, it's there wherever
We're okay. You can leave the grips at home
and
for
then
me.
I would just literally have to put this horrible little hairnet, like my little bun.
That's
The
from
hair-
14. Yeah, that's when it started to.
And that's when I was like, no, and that's why I would love to get. That's when I was like, okay, then my mum would start letting me get, because growing up, my mum, I wasn't allowed to relax for hair, any of that stuff, and I was very grateful for that.
Blessing.
She didn't even gel, all that kind of stuff. Growing up, my mum, one time I met my mum, I gelled my baby hairs down.
What?
She said, "You better go take that gel off your hair right now." I was
incredible woman.
I was so like, no, it was, I was allowed to do braids. She'd do braids, single braids. And that's when I'd feel like, oh yeah, that was something.
I love that. I think that's a very strong start. But I also do feel as if, you do what you have to do to survive.
I agree.
And survival starts young. And I now am at a point where I look back and I think, grace comes in here, because what did you think I was going to Erykah Badu it at 13? Do you mean? And all natural, everything natural. You mad?
Not in over here anyway.
Gets me relaxed immediately. So I get it, but I just feel as if there's a point at which you look at yourself and you just think, this is sad. This is a bit sad that this is how I was born. This is how God made me. This is how I came out the womb. And this, let's be real, isn't me. I am the combination of two people who are the combination of two people who are the combination of two people. I, like this, could probably look like a great grandmother I've never seen. There's probably someone that would be like, you're a spitting image like that.
Yeah.
That's heritage. That's blood. That's deep.
Yeah.
In the same way that like people getting nose jobs or like changing their eye color. You see the surgery where they change their eye color. Okay, well, they're my granddad's eyes, so no thank you. Or this is like Grandma Euphemia's lips. It's the same with your hair. Yeah. So there's a point where I looked in the mirror and I was like, you can play, but just always be grounded, remembering that, yeah, it's hair, but it's not just hair, because like there's something that's pulling you all the way back to way back when. There's something in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's something deep in it.
Yeah, I've never looked at it like that.
And it's just, and I say this a lot of the times, it's like your facial features, your arms, your legs, I see it as a body part.
And that's probably the
I don't know why it's different.
Yeah, that no one really kind of looks at their hair. Well, I've never looked at it like a body part. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah.
It's just, but it is.
Yeah, I've never ever thought, oh, like, because as you said, my nose, my mouth, or whatever.
They are from people.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, that's my mum's nose or my dad's lips or whatever.
Your hair, your texture, what your hair does. I promise you, there will be some Zeze from 1940s. There will be a 1940s Zeze in a grayscale Polaroid photo that looked just like you. And you are her. And everything she did and everything she went through was so that you are here and you're living it up and having an incredible life. And it just feels like you're paying homage a little bit to say, like, I look like.
Yeah.
Because we do.
That's such an interesting way to put it.
It's the reason I wrote the book, and I think the reason why I got the book deal, because I didn't think anyone was going to publish it. I said,
let's talk about the book a bit, actually.
Okay.
So the book is called How to Love Your Afro. You said it took you a year to write it.
Well, it took less than a year, but from inception to now has been a year.
And what does it cover, briefly?
Part 1 is psychology.
Okay, nice.
It goes through everything from the curl definition trap, everything we just discussed about the natural hair movement, not necessarily catering for 4C, covers that. Okay. Covers language.
Right.
And how me saying my hair was tough and hard meant that when I was doing my hair, I was rough with it.
And also, I never forget, you must remember this episode of one of her greatest episodes, Tyra Banks' show, when they had the episode about the hair. Have you ever seen that one?
Oh my God.
And it was a conversation about because you talk about language, about using the terminology good hair.
Oh!
That everyone should stop. You shouldn't call certain hair, softer hair, good hair, and then our hair, not good hair.
Yes.
Because all hair is good hair.
Good hair is healthy hair.
Yeah, exactly. So if your hair's healthy, you got good hair.
I have good hair.
Good hair, right? Exactly.
Yes.
And
the language matters
100%.
Because as well, if you think it's tough, then why are you going to be treating it with any kind of tender love and care? Because it's tough, isn't it?
Right, there you go.
So then if you're talking about, hey, I used to say to my braiders, what that grip game do? Like, tell me how tight we can do things.
Okay.
Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. Please don't be gentle. Like, it's fine. The psychology of the language ties to how you are then physically with it.
Right.
So it covers that. I work with a number of different Black female psychologists, mental health professionals to talk about natural hair and dating. You see my video about preference or prejudice? You see that? Where if someone says straight hair is my preference, but where's the preference come from?
Right. Well, this is
where did it come from? Who instilled that preference in you and why? Probably prejudice.
Right.
Then we go into natural hair and dating. Natural hair and family. Sorry. So you go to the family function and you're constantly being dragged. I literally have tips that I worked on.
I saw that video where you,
I've got 7 tips.
Okay,
From everything from having an exit strategy to sitting and just asking them why to like everything that you need to. Basically, I'm trying to arm you up with the tools so that you can be left alone because you work it out.
Yeah, because people might be watching and be like, oh, it's not that deep, but it is, because you can really leave your house feeling so confident about yourself, and especially if you're in the beginning stages of learning to love your hair and whatever, and you're not used to being outside, and then you're feeling so nice about it, or you might not be feeling nice, and then you get to the fucking family function and someone
then Uncle Ray
says, what happened to your ear? And you're like,
oh, and you're sat on
and
AliExpress
you already
like this.
was on the way there.
You're ordering 3 bundles and a closure deal.
Because on the way
AliExpress.
there, you was thinking the same thing.
Because
what the fuck is up with
you
your
were
hair?
looking at yourself in the car on the way outside and you said, am I sure? Do I call in sick because they ain't seen me yet? No one knows I arrived.
Winston's like,
Uncle Winston, like, what happened? Nothing.
No.